you doing?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Let me get rid of the couple of things here.
Sure.
Got it. And I don't want that to be. Bear with me just one second.
Yeah,
Sure, I'm
no
not
problem.
getting feedback on here. So, so how are you doing on this lovely Thursday?
I'm doing well. It's nice to meet you.
Yes,
How are
nice.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just gonna play a little catch up because of early morning stuff.
Where are you located? On the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm in California. I live in a town called Temecula. It's a little winery town.
Oh, that's nice.
And how about yourself?
I live in Long Island, so also we've got some wineries as well. But I live closer to New York City, so I'm about an hour outside of New York City.
Let's see. I used to live in the Bensonhurst Marina in Long Island.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a
That must
long
be
time ago.
more towards Queens area, right? Probably more west, I think.
Yeah, let's see. Um, I used to, what was it? Yeah, so it's been a long time, but I used to live in the marina over there. I mean, you know the marina, it's just like an inlet with some boats and stuff like that, and that was it. But they called it the Bensonhurst Marina.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Just a long time ago. I used to operate a business that handled well, I was responsible for the Eastern Seaboard. So
Oh, okay.
it was a lot of going to the airport. So
Well, probably close there. Sure it
yeah.
was right.
So let's see. I've been watching your podcast. It looks pretty cool. Let's see. Um, I really like what you're doing for the vertical that you're working in, which is great. One of the reasons why my viewers liked you is because many people in our demographics 45 to 65, mostly female, like 86%. Uh,
Okay.
but a lot of people are saying, you know what, I'm kind of done with working and, I want to make more money. I want to do it, in a certain way and all that kind of stuff. So they're going on their own. So that's the reason why we're like, okay, this would be a good topic. People like good feedback, that type of thing. So,
Okay.
and let's see, towards the end, I always say, hey, how can people get a hold of you? Do you have a special program that's going on right now or anything like
Mhm.
that you're promoting?
Well, my program is ongoing, so it's called Easy Business Bookkeeping, and so that is a program that helps small business owners get organized with their finances, basically.
Hmm.
And I do also have a free guide that I usually offer on a podcast or something like this. So I don't know if that's a better
That would be perfect. And if you could have
resource.
your team send us a link to that, so we'll put it on the
Sure.
website with your episode.
Yep, no
The
problem.
episode itself, it gets edited, commercials added.
Yeah.
It typically will show 11 days from now on a Tuesday, beginning on the East Coast, starting at 10 in the morning, goes all the way to the West Coast through all our syndicated distribution. And then
Okay.
I want to say 4 weeks after that, it goes on to the BBS network, which is all streaming. It's like 150 different streaming things. And then about 3 weeks after that, it goes to UK Health Radio, which is
Okay.
the international stuff. So we're syndicated in three different places. So that's how it works. So when
Very
it goes
cool.
overseas, it actually airs 6, 7 times. It's all different time zones.
Okay.
So I don't, you know what? I have like 150,000 listeners overseas, and they're all expats.
Right. Yeah, I actually used to live in London.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh,
as an expat, I know that world. But yeah, that's very, very cool. So typically you talk about personal finance, right?
typically, I talk about
Yeah,
my little 3 or 4 minutes is personal finance.
right.
But everybody else that's on the show is anything from we had Wayne Dunlop. He's the number one travel blogger in the world for Travelocity. We've had politicians, all sorts of things. Uh, we've done dating stuff just
Yeah.
because that's what viewers want.
Right, right.
We're real lucky. We're close to 1 million listeners when you take into account everything. So it's just been working out. I still don't know why, but
Yeah. Well, obviously there's something appealing, right? So that's great. No, I'm
yeah,
looking forward to participating. Is it video or just audio?
it's both.
It's both. That's what I thought.
It's
Okay.
both. So there's the radio distribution comes out in about 11 days.
Okay.
And then after that, it goes all streaming. And then UK Health Radio is a radio, and then they package the video together as part of their website.
Okay.
So I do have some people who've come on the show, and they've actually got clients overseas. So I don't know if you work with expats or what, but I don't know if that would be a fit here or not. A lot of times I don't have a clue because I can sell motorhomes, but I can't do anything for the local distribute,
Right.
like we had a service that they were advertising. I said, hey, let's just try it out and see what happens. Is one of those services that delivers meals to people,
Okay.
but they couldn't get enough people to that would jump on it to make it worth their while. But
Right.
I can sell 13 motorhomes at $200,000 a piece, and the motorhome company's going, yeah.
So it's so interesting. But okay, so I mean, I'm excited. I do work with clients all over the place.
Mhm.
My program is, it has a part that would help someone who's an LLC sole proprietor in the US filing their Schedule C, but it's also something that can be used by anyone who's just trying to track their finances. And then my private coaching is really anybody. So I do have clients that are overseas as well.
Perfect. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I basically go for 10 minutes, cut. I don't have any commercials other than some of the things I have to say, promoting the syndication groups. And that's pretty much it. And if there's any mess ups, I got a great editor. He edit us out. Like during COVID, if the cat walks by the screen or something like that, actually, we leave that in because we think it's funny.
Yeah.
And most of the viewers think it's really cool. So,
So
but
is it interview style? Will you be asking me questions then?
yeah, so
Okay.
basically what I'm going to do is do my intro. I'm going to introduce you, and I'm going to just got a little bit about you, and then I'm going to get right into the questions. I want to
Okay.
understand your background first. Hey, how'd you get started? Why do you do this? You know what, you're a former CPA. What's that all about? And
Mhm.
then we're going to get into those 4 talking points we worked on, and that should take us about 20 minutes, maybe a
Okay.
little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But when we stop, it's just a 20-second break for me to get my mindset and then go into the second one because Cameron adds everything later.
Okay.
All the stuff for the overseas stuff gets added and all that stuff. You'll get a copy of everything. You'll get the raw stuff so you could tear it up any way
Okay.
you like. You'll even get the show demographic and everything. I was
Okay, great. And I didn't get the graphic, but I imagined you would send that after because then I can promote it on my channels as well. So
Yeah, I have an assistant that's a little bit behind because she's brand new.
okay.
We had somebody get pregnant and just
Uh,
decide to move.
oh.
So we're like, oh, you're moving. Yeah. My husband lives in Texas. Oh,
That's interesting. Okay.
okay. Well, our fiance now,
Yeah.
but she was really great. It's just the other one has to catch up.
Right. That's no problem. But yeah, I will look out for that. So that way I can be sure to put it on my network as well. So
Okay, so here we go. Let me get this rolling with my little timer. Let's see. Here we go. We're gonna pop on the record thing. Okay. Hello, Cameron. This is Steve Sexton. It's episode 186 for Saving with Steve. We've got Sara Finn, and we're going to get started in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to the Saving with Steve show where we talk about the ins and outs of money, everything that's under the sun that talks about money. And I just screwed that up, didn't I? So let's try that again, Cameron.
okay, just it's Sara Fins with an
Sara
S.
Finn.
Yes, Fins.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank God it'll be edited out. Hello, welcome to the Saving with Steve show where we talk about the ins and outs of money, pretty much everything under the sun is relating to you to having a happier, healthier relationship with money. My name is Steve Sexton. I want to thank you for joining us. Hey, I want to thank you for sharing us with your friends and family. We're actually over 1 million listeners, so we're very happy with that. You know what? Thanks again for joining us today. One of the things I wanted to talk about today, and many of you viewers just, typed in and said, this is what we're looking for. So many people are leaving the corporate world and going into business for themselves, looking to build a business. They're just tired of where they're at. And you know what? One of the biggest issues is how do you handle the finances? How do you make sure you have a profitable business? That's why we have Sara Finn here. Sarah's a financial coach. She's the creator of the Easy Business Bookkeeping program. She's a former CPA. She's probably in remission now for being a CPA. Just kidding. In the corporate world, she has 10 years experience of running her own health coaching practice. Sarah empowers coaches, consultants, wellness professionals to manage their business and finances with ease. You know what? She believes when you're equipped with knowledge, you need to manage our money. Her clients make smarter financial decisions that can do more in the world. Today, we're going to talk about some simple steps for beginner solopreneurs to consider when learning to manage their own financial business or their own business's finances. So with that, Sarah, I want to welcome you to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, I've got to ask, I love it when I saw your stuff and it said former CPA. I always joke when I see something like they're recovering.
Yes, right. Exactly
So
that.
so what I'd like to start with is, everybody has a history and a background. What brought you to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I went to college for accounting. I graduated with a degree in accounting. I earned my CPA. I went and worked in corporate accounting in New York City for a number of years, about 10 years. And during that time, I was an auditor, I was an assistant controller, I did all the things corporate accounting. And when my first child was born, I decided that I wanted to pivot and go back and study something that was more of a passion. It felt like a good time to kind of make that change. And that's when I went back to school for health coaching. And nutrition had always been a passion of mine. I got certified, I opened a business, and I ran my health coaching practice also for about 10 years. And through that time, I realized that so many of my colleagues struggled when it came to the money management of their business. They didn't know how to track their money, they didn't know what to do for taxes. And it held a lot of them back either from growing their businesses or really from keeping them viable, right? They had to close their doors or whatever it was. And so I realized that because I had seen both sides of it, right? I had the accounting knowledge and I had the small business knowledge. I knew what they were going through on a day-to-day basis that I could help them in that way. And I started out, helping friends, like just getting them in order. And then I realized that it was something that I was good at teaching. And so I kind of piloted the very first version of my program and went really well. And it got to the point where I couldn't do both anymore because it got, I had to choose, and I decided to pivot back because I really love supporting other business owners and helping them to get their businesses running and off the ground and solid financially.
You know what? It's really interesting in doing what I do with personal finance. I've had the same experience with small business owners. Some people think they're doing really well, but they're not looking at any of the books. They don't understand profitability. They don't
Right.
understand setting things aside for taxes, and they're always freaking out during tax season.
Hmm.
And you know what? I have seen people close their doors because they just don't manage their finances well.
Right.
And some people go 10, 15 years and not realize that.
Hmm.
So and there's many people that I said you need to have a better relationship with your CPA and have them show you a balance sheet and those things so you could see if you're actually making any money.
Exactly.
And for those that do that, they might not have the greatest business in the world, but they're profitable.
Hmm.
And that makes all the difference in the world. So, you know what? One of the biggest things when people go into the business, they're usually frustrated and they're pivoting, but they don't know that financial step. They know how to make the business, they know how to get their widgets sold, but what about the
Yes.
money? So I think that's very, very cool what you're doing. So, you know what? Let's just start with some of the things that you see that business owners or small business owners or new business owners do all the time. And what can they do to correct that?
Yeah, so there's a few really simple things to get started to make your life a lot easier in the long run and to have the information that you need. And the first thing, it sounds very simple, but it's to separate your business and personal bank accounts. So, it doesn't, I work with a lot of solopreneurs who are filing as sole proprietors. And if you're starting a business because it's a side business or something new and you don't necessarily have a formal business setup, you can simply open a secondary checking account. Like it doesn't have to right away be a business account. The idea is that you want to keep your business transactions in one place, your personal transactions in another place, so that you have the information separated for taxes, for tracking purposes, for information purposes to, if you want to invest in your business, it just takes the stress out of it and makes things much more clear, and easy to follow. So that's the first thing I recommend getting started is making sure you have things separated in two different places. So that's a huge thing. Should I continue with some of
So,
the
so, so,
other?
so, so
Yeah.
th- I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah.
When two separate places. So that means it's not a good idea to use your business checkbook to make your car payment or buy your
Right.
groceries, or use the business credit card to do those things. You want to have it completely separate so you can
Exactly.
really see what's going on.
Exactly. And then what you do is you take the money that you're making, again, when you're looking at everything, figuring out your profit, and you pay yourself from your business account. And so that's how you bring the money from your business into your personal, but it's very easy to follow the money that way and know where it's going, where it's coming, what you need, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I was just putting that out there because there's so many
Mhm.
people that I've seen like, what? And
Yeah.
you just see they're like, well, I'm paying my bills from this and this and this. There's enough money in that account. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You never know, if you're going to be able to make it unless you have the things separate and you're actually paying yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings me to another recommendation is to track your finances, right? So find a system where you can track exactly what's going on. And what that means is all the revenue that you're bringing in. So any money that you make in your business, you want to record it. So your system should be able to break that down in a way that you know where the money's coming from. So for example, I work with a lot of coaches. Maybe they have private coaching, maybe they have group programs, maybe they have workshops. You want to be able to identify what's what so you can analyze your revenue and say, what's bringing me in the most money? What makes sense to continue with? Where might I need to raise my prices? That sort of thing. But you want to get it down in a system of some sort. And then you also want to track your expenses. And so that means all the money you spend in your business on everything that's business related. If you're in the US, you can take certain expenses as deductions on your tax return, which means they offset the revenue you make. And then in the end, you pay legally less tax.
Mhm.
And so you want to make sure your system can help you to identify, how to categorize those expenses as well. So getting that all on paper allows you to see what money's coming in, what money's going out, and therefore, do I have a profit? And how much can I pay myself and how my business is actually doing.
Yeah, I also love the fact that you talked about how much from each revenue source,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people love that shiny object and they start
Right.
going down that rabbit hole and they're like, oh, I'm spending a money on this. This is going to be great. And then, if they're not tracking it and saying, I'm
Mhm.
spending this to get this. So what is my return on my investment here?
Right.
But it's not cutting it, which means, hey, I've got all these two revenue sources that are supporting this, but this is not going anywhere. I need to be able to see those numbers to say, I need to stop this.
And also, as solopreneurs, there's not a lot of time, right? Usually, when you're starting a business, you're managing everything yourself. And so you don't want to be spending your energy on things that are not really creating the revenue that you need. You want to be spending your time on things that are, and that can help make that clear when you're looking at the different sources.
That's wonderful. Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to be right back with more Sarah Finn and Saving with Steve. Okay, perfect. Wow, that was a good break. Do you have a timer there too?
No, no.
When I used to do radio like 12 years ago, they used to have this timer that would sit right in front of you. That was 12 minutes. It was
Okay.
always 12 minutes because at the 12-minute mark, you always had to have 2 minutes worth of commercials.
Okay.
So every 12 minutes was like that. So I was just like, wow, she's good. So, all right. So, let's see. One of the big things that people did ask is when is the right time to outsource something?
Okay.
Okay. And if you could also comment on if you're going to hire a vendor or somebody to help you handle your finances, what are the questions that you need to ask to make sure you make a good decision with the people that you're, looking at as vendors? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So here we go. Cameron, we're moving into segment two, Saving with Steve 186 with Sara Finn. So here we go. Hello, welcome back to the Saving with Steve show where we talk about the ins and outs of money. Today we're talking with Sara Finn about the ins and outs of money. with solopreneurs, being people just beginning into running their own business. We've been talking about making sure you have everything in the right place, have your business and personal separate, all sorts of things. So, but now we want to start moving into, you know what, when you're a small business owner, you get to a point where, hey, you're doing everything. And there's no more time left in the day, otherwise you're going to pop. So you have to start looking at finding somebody else or a vendor that can help you take some of the load off so you can go develop and grow your business. So I thought Sara, being a CPA and what she does, she'd be able to provide us some great advice. And I know she can. So I was wondering if you could start talking to us about, hey, at what point in time should a business owner be looking at hiring or outsourcing somebody?
Right. So specifically for finances
For
or
finances or
for
other things.
yeah, so like you said, when you start to feel like you just don't have any time left to do, the business part of the business, right? You want to be able to service your clients and do what you need to do there. And so I think the first thing that's smart to hire for someone who is a solopreneur starting out would be an assistant of some sort, right? And the easiest way to do that is to hire someone as a contractor. So someone that you're going to pay hourly or you're going to pay on retainer, but that's not necessarily an employee. Because if you're hiring an actual employee, that gets complicated with your taxes. And there may be a time you're ready to do that, but contractors can be great to help take some of the load off. When you're looking to work with someone new, I recommend just having, making sure that you have a contract in place where you understand exactly what they're going to be doing for you, exactly what you're going to be paying for, exactly, which services. So that way, if the scope changes, if you wind up needing more help, if you need to budget more for that or whatnot. When it comes to outsourcing for your finances, so a question I get a lot is when should I hire an accountant or a bookkeeper or a CPA? And I like to just mention that there are differences between that, right? An accountant or a CPA, someone to help you file your taxes. I think that's someone you should hire right away because that is somebody that can file for you, make sure everything's going correctly, and making sure, it's someone that understands your business and the laws in your area because you want to make sure that they can help you maximize, the tax deductions and make it all work with your personal income taxes. A bookkeeper is someone who keeps track of your money for you, right? Like enters all the expenses and revenue, like we talked about in just before. And so hiring someone like that can be potentially delayed longer. And it's really important from my perspective for small business owners to understand their finances first before they outsource their bookkeeping. So I think you really want to get a handle on the money that you're bringing in, the expenses that you have, understanding the flow of that, understanding how to manage that yourself so you can be empowered when you work with someone else.
So here's the question: when you're hiring a financial professional,
Yes.
what would be the smart questions to ask if you're hiring a financial professional to do your books? Because if they're doing their books, they're obviously adding in everything you spend, all the revenue, but
Right.
they're doing balance sheets, cash flow statements, and net, that type of thing.
Right.
So what should you ask them to make sure you have the right one that works for you?
Right. Well, first of all, it's good to find out what their training is and which system they use, right? So they don't have to be a CPA to be a great bookkeeper. They just have to have a, experience. It would be great to get references from their clients, so you can have someone to talk to that's in your industry, right? So if they have clients that are in your industry, it's important because some industries have different, ways of booking revenue and things like that. And so you want to make sure it's someone who's familiar with your industry. So what kind of clients do they work with? Um, do they have references for you? When it comes to the bookkeeping system, you want to know what system they're using. How much access will you have to it, right? So will it be the sort of situation where if you wanted to go in and run reports yourself without having to go through them, could you do that? If not, are they available? How often will they run reports for you? How often will you meet to go over those reports? So even when you outsource, it's really important that you set aside regular time to talk with your financial professional so that way you can always know where your finances are at, and you don't have to wait till the end of the year or when it's time to file taxes, because it's information that you need on an ongoing basis. So how often will you have access to them? How will you have access to them? Is it a meeting? Is it an email? And everyone works differently. If it's someone local, you may meet in person. If it's someone online, you might meet them, over
Mhm.
Zoom or whatnot. But just to understand that up front, what is going on, right?
Mhm.
And if they have a process for how they report to their clients is also important to know up front. So you know what you're getting, when you're going to be getting it, so you can have the information that you need from your finances, even though you're outsourcing to someone else.
Would it be a good would it be good to ask them to explain you how your balance sheet works, just to make sure they communicate well?
Yeah, that's a great question, to make sure that they're communicating in a way that you can understand as a non-financial professional, right? Because you don't want someone that's going to be talking over your head. You're going to want someone that's talking at your level and can explain exactly what's going on. So yeah, that's great to ask them to understand, what each financial statement is and what the use is for it too is helpful.
That's perfect. And then I want to go back to something you said earlier about um, what was that? When we talk to somebody about maybe hiring somebody else besides a financial professional, um, a lot of people think they look at the scope of the job. Would it be really good to have that completely written out exactly what you want somebody to do, so make sure there's clarity so you don't get frustrated with that individual because they're not doing something they didn't know they were supposed to
Oh
do?
yeah, absolutely. Having what's called standard operating procedures, right? Or SOPs for each area of your business that you want to outsource is a really great way so it's basically where you write out the process, right, from start to finish of whatever you're going to be asking them to do, so that they have a step-by-step guide of kind of how to do it. And I think that that can help take away a lot of the stress, because they'll know what's expected of them, and you'll know what you're asking them to do. And then if there's any sort of disconnect, you can kind of talk through it. And also too, always remember that when you're onboarding someone new, it takes a little while, right, for them to get up to speed and to get comfortable with you and you to get comfortable with them, and you know um and that sort of thing. But yeah, it can be very helpful to have those operating procedures written out ahead of time.
Okay. And then the next step is, hey, we're starting to grow. Um, you know what? How should should I be planning this now for what's going to happen later? How do I put that plan in place for the future? Um,
Right. Once you have your process for tracking revenue and expenses, then the next step is to really plan out for the future, right? So to do revenue projections based on what you'd like to sell over time, what products or what programs that you're going to be selling, any investments that you need to make. So say you're going to need to buy a laptop or something like that. You want to factor that in and kind of look long term. So once you know what you have going on now, you can start to project for the future. And that's when you can do some more planning about, can you hire somebody else? Do you need to hire somebody else? Do you need to move into a different offer, or raise your prices, or whatever that happens to be? So once you can start um, projecting out, that'll give you the information you need to look towards the future.
that's wonderful. Sarah, I want to thank you so much for being here today. But before I let you go, I'd just like you to take a moment and talk to people about your Easy Business Bookkeeping program. And then I know
Sure.
you have some information for all of our listeners who are interested, that they can go to our website. And if you can tell us about that, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, sure. So my Easy Business Bookkeeping program is a program that I designed because I saw so many solopreneurs were kind of getting started, but in between ready to outsource and didn't need something super fancy like QuickBooks, right? So this is a solution to help them get organized with their finances that I created. You can learn more about that at sarafins.com, sarafins.com/self-paced. And the gift that I have today is a 3 simple steps guide to get you started for managing your business finances more easily and more confidently. And so that's completely free. You can go to sarafins.com/steps and grab that guide and get some information that supplements what we talked about today to help get you started and get organized.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody, this is Sarah Finn, recovering CPA. I'm just joking. But I really appreciate you sharing that information with all those people who are leaving the workforce, looking at finding a better way and running their own opportunity, because it takes a lot, not just running the business, and the finances are the key. So thank you
Thank you.
again. And where can everybody go get that free gift again?
sarafins.com/steps.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll look forward to possibly having you back in the future. And with that, everybody stick with us. We'll be right back with more Saving with Steve. Let's see. Here we go. Perfect. That was wonderful.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I hope that was a good segment, and I'll send over those links to the email just so that you have them written out as well.
Okay, so one of the things that we do is we actually send out, hey, we're having Sara Fins. She does this, this, and this. You know what? We're thinking about having her talk about this. Give us some feedback. So everything I asked you is the feedback that people want to hear. So
Okay.
so it was just like spot on.
Okay, awesome. Good. I'm glad. I hope it's valuable.
And I could tell you've talked about it 100 times. So
that is true. I have in different iterations.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have the link to your podcast. We're going to have the link to your gift, and we're going to have obviously the link to this episode for us, and that'll all be on our website here coming within the next 10 days, or probably in the next week. So
okay.
And basically, I believe you should be receiving the graphic today.
Okay.
But everything will be just going into like a little Dropbox and being sent to you. Okay.
Okay, great. And I'll schedule that out when it's live.
Yep.
All right. It was nice meeting you,
I'm going to let you
Steve.
go. You just got to sign off, and I've got a few things to finish, and then
okay. Okay, great. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Take care.
Okay, let's see. Who is this? Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So. No, you're good. Hey, Cameron, we're going to be doing the My Little Piece here for this episode, and we're going to go and get started right now. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Saving with Steve show. I want to truly thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you letting your friends and family and associates know about the show. All the replays are available at savingwithsteve.us. If you're enjoying the stories of helpful information and insight on Saving with Steve, then I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Spotify channel, and please check out a few of our affiliates at UK Health Radio, BBS Radio, Talk Radio in New York City, E360 TV, Las Vegas TV networks. All these networks are dedicated to empowering you to solve problems, uplift your spirit, and live a life of personal and financial freedom. Again, you can always follow us at savingwithsteve.us. You can go to the Facebook page at Saving with Steve Sexton and get the Insiders Club and get that special gift that Sarah has. But one of the things I want to talk to you about today has a little bit to do how horse racing has a lot to do with the market and the Federal Reserve. So big question starts with, have you ever watched a horse race? Not that I'm an average horse race guy. I only watch one once a year, and that's at the Kentucky Derby time. I like watching when they put the horses in the starting gate. Those horses are also ready to run, and everyone is waiting for that bell. And I kind of feel like the market right now is in the starting gate. It's roaring to go. It's ready to reach to take the market to new places it's never been. And all it's happening is it's waiting for the bell to ring. In this case, the bell is the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates. Yesterday was a really interesting day. The large tech companies drove stocks to another record day. And the bond market, while it went into volatility again because the bond traders are pricing in 2 Federal Reserve rate cuts this year. And they did that based off the economic news that, things were slowing down a bit. However, in my opinion, I feel we are closer to the door of stagflation than we are to deflation. The Federal Reserve is well aware of what will happen to the market the minute they announce a rate cut. The question I have for you is, what do people do when they feel wealthy? That's right. They spend. What a quandary. I'm really interested in what you are thinking and what you're feeling about this. I'd love it if you could send me an email at viewers@savingwithsteve.us. Again, that's viewers@savingwithsteve.us. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to seeing you with you next time. And with that, that's me here, Steve Sexton on Saving with Steve, signing off. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.